On this episode of What's Going On with Shipping, if you thought we couldn't talk more about the port of LA and Long Beach and the massive backlog of container ships, you're mistaken. Because today we're going to take a deep dive into where are those ships from and where are they going. Hi, I'm your host, Sal Mercogliano, chair of the Department of History, Criminal Justice, and Political Science at Campbell University, former merchant mariner and an adjunct instructor in maritime industry policy at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. So I've been talking about this for a while now. We've been going in depth talking about the backlog and did a whole video the other day on exactly how many more container ships can we get off LA and Long Beach. But today I wanted to kind of take a deep dive into some of the vessels that are off the port and talk about them and their schedule. So let's go over here. We're going to go to our favorite app of all time, Marine Traffic. Here's the port of LA Long Beach, just again, continually growing. We can see that. And if you zoom out here a little bit, you'll see the ships coming in, coming out right here, kind of milling about here. You got some right here off the islands right here, just kind of steaming around. And then here, the massive anchorage that sits right here at the port of LA. You can see the Everleader heading into port right now, coming in, and vessels along the dock right here. You can see a ship coming out right now here. That's the tug master with them, but it looks like a sea land vessel is going to come in. Yep. Here it is. The sea land vessel coming out. This is actually operated by Maersk, but you can see the entire terminal here. So what I want to talk about today is the Port of LA. Now, the Port of LA has a great website, and how is it? I have not got any swag or acknowledgement from the Port of LA. I have no idea. I want to thank all my followers, subscribers, going through the roof recently. I talked about getting 10,000 by the end of the year, and again, just floored by the reception. So thank you all. Port of LA, great website to go to. And one of them they have here is Resource for Shippers. So I'm going to highlight some of the things on here for you to research later on. So one of the things back to 2015, they have these calendars that talk about how many ships are at berth. If you go back to March of 2015, you'll see that LA had quite a few vessels out at anchor right here. And then all of a sudden it kind of declines down. And in truth, over the past 4 years, I went through all these from calendar year 2015 all the way up to the present. If you look at calendar year 2020 last year, you'll see 0, 1 vessel at berth. Basically, the 1 vessel at berth is coming in late. It's not going to come in the harbor. Has to wait the next morning for the pilots to come out. And basically, that was the norm. There was literally no ships on berth at all, maybe a few here and there, but not a lot. And that's the way it goes through 2020 until the very end. You start hitting October of 2020 last year, then all of a sudden you start seeing that growth until you're hitting December and you're in those double digits. And that's what we're seeing right now in the Port of LA. But what I want to make you aware of is a couple of things. So vessels in Los Angeles Harbor, working container vessels, vessels at anchor. So this is the working container vessels. This is the ships that are in berth right now, actually working. And you can see right here a fairly good schedule of the vessels. So the President Eisenhower, which is an APL vessel, she arrived at the anchorage on April 29th. She arrived on berth on May 6th. Eisenhower had suffered a engine room fire, and that's the reason she's been on there for long. So she's an aberration in this. Just want to make you aware of it. But if you come down here, Zim, Virginia, she came in at anchorage on September 6th, and then she got on berth on the 19th. So 13 days with an estimated departure on the 24th. And you can see all the vessels when they arrived at their anchorages, when they came in. And you can see the delays right there. You can see the delays right there of when the vessels came in and when they leave. Now, some vessels come in and basically begin cargo operations and leave the next day. So if you look down here, let's look at, I just had one here. NYK Daedalus came in on the 22nd, started working cargo on the 22nd, was out on the 23rd. And you can see all these vessels right here. So cargo is moving. And this is one of the things we keep forgetting about, is how much cargo is actually moving. And the Port of LA is working their butts off to get this cargo moved. If you come over here, vessels in Los Angeles Harbor, this is a report that I've shown before that shows you a kind of quick little synopsis here, but the one that you really need to look at here. So what I want to show you here is this vessel at anchor, and this is the signal report that the Port of LA does. Now, I did this back on Tuesday, September 21st, so I was able to capture this data. So they've got the weeks there, weeks ending, their expected imports. You can see the number of imports increasing right there, number of containers. But here are the list of the ships at anchor. So currently anchorage times is averaging about 9 days. We talked about, again, come back in here, we're seeing right now the Everleader coming in Here she is on the report right here, Ever Leader right here coming in. She had been there, sorry, my poor reading glasses, since the 20th, and she's coming right in. Now, she's hasn't been at anchor for that long. But again, if you pull up her report, and this is from Evergreen, I was able to pull up her route. And again, I will link all these to you so you can do this yourself if you're really interested in seeing where ships go. But here's the Ever Leader's report. So this vessel is on a specific voyage and route. She's on the Route 55E. This is voyage 975 for her. She had left, let's see, she arrived at Qingdao on August 29th, left on the 30th, arrived at Shanghai the following day, September 1st, left on the 3rd, went to Ningbo September 5th, this is September 6th, to Korea Port. I'm not even going to try to say it because I'll just get killed by you guys on on the comment section. From September 8th, and then arrived in LA on the 22nd and leaving on the 28th. And she's supposed to go up to Oakland next. And again, this is what we were talking about, how some of these ships are supposed to phase in, not dump all their cargo. She goes to Oakland and then takes off and heads across to Busan. And so this movement here is significant. You get to see a little bit of the details of where these vessels are and where they're moving. And the signal report is great for that. You see it kind of broken down here. You can see vessels that are due at the anchorage coming in. Some of these vessels you can track very easily. So for example, here, COSCO, here's the COSCO Taesung. She's right here in the report. You can see her right here. She's been in there for 7 days. Here's her report. She came in from Shanghai, Fuzhou, Xiamen, and Yanatan. And now she's arrived. Her ETA at LA is September 23rd. Her estimated time of departure is September 28th. Now, whether or not she gets on berth that time, that's a whole other issue. She goes in LA and then she heads back to Shanghai. The only port she goes to is LA. And so here's one of those cases where a ship has to dump its entire load, which usually requires a few days. Here is the APL, the President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the U.S. flag vessel. She's at the anchorage right now. Matter of fact, she's in the inner anchorage, I believe. Yep, here she is right here in the inner anchorage, right here inside the breakwater. Since she's got American crew, she can run launch service ashore, get her crew back and forth, and not take advantage of Grub Barge, my new undertaking here to provide tasty foods for ships at anchor off the Southern California coast. Trademark pending. But here you see the APL FDR Roosevelt. They're not expected to come into the terminal till October 6th. And then she sails on October 11th and then heads up to Oakland and then across to Japan, Yokohama. And again, some of these ships have delays in their schedules, these phase delays. And you're seeing that it's not like get in the berth, offload everything as quick as you can. Some of these ships are designed to be in there. And especially some of these terminals are just for smaller vessels. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's a smaller vessel. You can't get the big monster vessels in there. She is not as large. We talked about Everleader. Here's Everfront, another vessel that's in here that we're talking about. This one here is the Wan Hei 611. She's in there. You can see her coming in. She came in from, looks like Korea, and now is in here in Los Angeles. Estimated time of arrival on the 11th. Her estimated time on berth is the 30th. So you're talking about almost 19 days at anchor sitting there. And then she's not scheduled to come out until November 4th. And you can see the delays going in here. So you get a good indication about this. And I'll have some links where you can search some of these vessels. You can go usually to the operating company and find them, but some of these ships are under charter, as we talked about the other day. Not all shipping lines are using vessels they own. Some of them have chartered vessels. Zim, for example, only has the one owned ship. And so sometimes it's a little difficult to find who these ships are sailing for. So like Orca 1, which is a container ship, which is really confusing if you look at it in marine traffic, because it's screwed up where there's vessels with similar names, but sometimes using the wrong IDs get transposed. So you'll see that. So some of these vessels, Navos is again, one of those NOOs, those non-operating owners who lease vessels. So they're out there. And so you can see where they're going out there. And then you get ships like, here, YM Unamity. This is through a site here. I think this is My Ship Tracking, which has a good last ports of call, so you can see where they were. So she was back in Oakland back in June, And then since June, she's been rotating around, heading to ports. She was in port for a really long time, 42 days there at Nansha. That's probably a yard period of some kind. Usually you're not in port anywhere near that long. If you look 3 days, 1 day, 18 hours, 45 minutes, 1 day, 42 days, that's something more going on there. But you can track where these vessels have been and where they're going. Again, some of you with a military background will be sitting there saying, operational security, why are you doing this? This is all commercial. The idea of publication of routes is really important because these companies are selling these routes. They want to be able to do that. You come to APL here, they're under CMA, CGM, Maersk, they publish their routes. They have set schedules, set routes with sometimes they don't even have the vessel name because they're shifting vessels onto these routes. And so this gives you a little bit more insight here into what's going on in the port of LA Long Beach right now. This is just LA. This is the signal report for the port of LA. Long Beach is a different report. But again, this gives you some ideas of what's going on. I want to make you a little bit more educated in the process behind this. This is unusual. You go back and look at the vessels at anchorage here. We've never seen this before. And so clearing the vessels off the berths, and remember, you have different size vessels. Not all vessels go to set berths. The berth arrangements are different. Again, come back here to the working container vessels. Depending on your route is where you go to the terminal. LA is actually a landlord. They don't own any of the terminals. They own the land, but they don't operate the terminals. They lease it to these terminals, and these terminals in turn arrange for the vessels to come in. And so it's a little disingenuous at times when we comment about the Port of LA trying to do more. It's really up to these terminals, these 7 terminals right here, to basically get the cargo off the ship. And so that's something that's not being told enough in the story. So anyway, just a quick little video. I thought I'd give you a little insight here into operations in the Port of LA. Maybe I can get somebody from the Port of LA to come on what's going on with shipping and give us even more information and talk about it. So, you know, gauntlet thrown down there, Port of LA. Let's get one of your people on here and let's talk about it. I don't want a public affairs guy. I want somebody who knows what they're talking about on here to talk about this detail. We're coming close to 10,000 subscribers, so becoming a force in the shipping industry. So that's me being humorous. I don't consider myself a force in the shipping industry. So if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel. Go ahead, hit the bell so you'll be alerted about new videos when they come out. Go ahead, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you like this video, if you want to see some more, if you've got a topic in mind you want to share, please do so. If I made a mistake, tell me I made a mistake. Do it all the time. But hopefully we're continuing our process here of really educating people about global shipping and the current crisis that's facing the United States with this huge backlog of vessels off the port of LA and Long Beach. So until the next video, Sal, signing off.